Welcome to Caribbean Whispers by Renee. Miss Rachel was known throughout the district for two things: her loud voice and her refusal to use modern technology. While everybody else walked around staring at smartphones, Miss Rachel still used an old button phone that looked like it had survived 3 hurricanes. The phone could call. The phone could text. And according to Miss Rachel, that was all a phone needed to do. One Saturday morning, her children arrived with a surprise. "Mommy, we buy ya a smartphone." Miss Rachel nearly dropped her cup of tea. "A smart what?" "A smartphone." "Why me need a smartphone? Me already smart." The children laughed. "It's not that kind of smart, Mommy." Miss Rachel folded her arms. "If it's smarter than me, carry it back." But the children insisted. Soon they placed a shiny new phone into her hands. Miss Rachel stared at it. It stared back. "Where the buttons?" "No buttons." "Then how ya dial people?" "You touch the screen." She gasped. "Touch the screen? So every time me touch it, it working?" "Yes, Mommy." "That sound expensive." The children spent 2 hours teaching her how to answer calls, how to send messages, how to open apps, how to take pictures. Miss Rachel nodded seriously. By the end she confidently announced, "Me understand everything." The children smiled. They knew she didn't. The moment they left, Miss Rachel accidentally changed the language on the phone. Everything became Chinese. She stared at the screen. The screen stared back. "Jesus help me." She spent 30 minutes trying to fix it. Instead, she activated voice control. The phone suddenly spoke. "How can I help you?" Miss Rachel screamed. The phone repeated, "How can I help you?" Miss Rachel ran into the yard. The phone talking. Her neighbor Miss Lily rushed over. "The phone doing what?" "It's talking." Miss Lily looked at the device. "Oh, that's normal." "Normal what?" "Yes, man." Miss Rachel shook her head. No machine should answer back. The trouble had only just begun. The next morning, Miss Rachel woke up determined to master her new smartphone. She placed it on the dining table and stared at it. The phone stared back. "Today," she announced, "you not beating me." The phone remained silent. Miss Rachel nodded. "Good. Know ya place." For nearly an hour everything went smoothly. She answered a call from her sister. She even sent a text message. Actually, she tried to send a text message. Instead of typing, she accidentally pressed the microphone button. The phone listened carefully. Miss Rachel had no idea. Meanwhile, she was talking to herself in the kitchen. "Lord have mercy, look pon these yam." The phone typed, "Lord have mercy, look on these yam." Miss Rachel continued, "Who plant these things? Dem look sick." The phone typed that too. Then she said, "If Trevor bring one more green banana, hear me going beat him with it." The phone faithfully recorded every word. A few seconds later, whoosh, the message was sent. To Trevor. Miss Rachel froze. The phone vibrated. Trevor replied immediately. "Auntie Rachel, why ya threatening me?" Miss Rachel nearly dropped the device. "What?" 5 more messages arrived. "Me only bring banana because ya ask." "What did me do? Please don't beat me." Miss Rachel glared at the phone. "You set me up." The phone remained innocent. Later that afternoon, Miss Rachel decided to explore something called social media. Her daughter had created an account for her. All you have to do is post pictures. Simple enough. Or so she thought. She opened the camera, took a picture of her lunch, then accidentally activated a filter. Suddenly she had rabbit ears. Miss Rachel screamed, "What happened to me ears?" She ran to the mirror. Normal ears. Back to the phone. Rabbit ears. Mirror again. Normal ears. Phone again. Rabbit ears. Miss Rachel became convinced the phone was possessed. She marched straight to Miss Lily's yard. "Look." Miss Lily took one look and burst into laughter. "It's a filter." "A what?" "A filter. Why would anybody want rabbit ears?" Miss Lily shrugged. "People like foolishness." Miss Rachel muttered, "The whole world gone mad." That evening she decided to make her first social media post. She wanted to write, "Good evening, everyone. Hope you're having a blessed day." Instead, she accidentally posted, "Good evening, everyone. Hope your goat is having a blessed day." Within minutes, the comments started. "Miss Rachel, me don't own a goat. My goat says thank you. The goat appreciate the blessings." One man even posted a picture of an actual goat. Miss Rachel couldn't understand why everybody was laughing. Then her daughter called. "Mommy, why are you blessing goats online?" Miss Rachel looked at the screen. Silence. Then, "Phone did it." The next day things became even worse. Her grandson introduced her to online shopping. You can buy things without leaving home. Miss Rachel's eyes widened. "Really?" "Yes, Grandma. Technology finally useful." The grandson showed her how to browse items. A few minutes later he left. Big mistake. Miss Rachel started clicking. And clicking. And clicking. She thought she was saving items for later. She wasn't. She was buying them. 3 dish racks. 5 flashlights. 2 blenders. A giant inflatable flamingo. A package of 1,000 plastic spoons. And one mysterious item labeled, "Recommended for you." She had no idea what it was. 3 days later, boxes started arriving. The delivery driver appeared so often he began greeting her by name. "Morning, Miss Rachel. What now?" "Another package." "I didn't order that." The driver checked his list. "According to this, yes you did." Miss Rachel opened the box. Inside was the giant flamingo. She stared at it. The flamingo stared at her. Miss Rachel sighed. This phone spending money like politician before election. By the end of the week, the entire community was enjoying the show. Every day brought a new disaster. Every day Miss Rachel blamed the phone. And every day the phone somehow won. But the greatest embarrassment of all was still coming. Because Miss Rachel was about to discover something called a video call. And things were about to get much, much funnier. By the second week, Miss Rachel and the smartphone had become enemies. Not ordinary enemies. The kind of enemies that wake up every morning ready for battle. Every day she found a new reason to distrust it. Every day the phone found a new way to embarrass her. One afternoon her grandson stopped by. "Grandma, have you tried video calling yet?" Miss Rachel frowned. "Video what?" "Video call. You can see people while talking." Miss Rachel nearly choked on her juice. "See them?" "Yes." "Through the phone?" "Yes." She looked suspiciously at the device. "So people can see me too?" "Of course." Miss Rachel immediately put the phone face down on the table. "No way. The grandson laughed. "Grandma, it's useful. I don't want people spying on me." "It's not spying. It sounds like spying." But after a while her curiosity got the better of her. She agreed to learn. Big mistake. Very big mistake. The grandson called her from the other room. The phone started ringing. Miss Rachel answered. Suddenly a giant version of her own face appeared on the screen. She screamed. The grandson laughed so hard he nearly fell off a chair. "Grandma, that's you. Why me face so big?" "Because you're holding the phone too close." She moved it farther away. Now the camera was pointing at the ceiling fan. The grandson saw nothing but spinning blades. "Grandma, we can't see you good." A few days later her church group decided to hold a video meeting. Miss Rachel proudly joined. At least she thought she did. The meeting had 20 people. The pastor was speaking. Everyone was quiet. Then suddenly a loud voice interrupted. "Who leave this plate in the fridge?" The entire meeting froze. The voice continued. "Nobody in this house can wash a plate." People started looking around. The pastor stopped speaking. Then Miss Rachel realized something. The voice was hers. Her microphone was on. Everybody had heard her. Every single person. The pastor. The deacon. The choir members. Everybody. Miss Rachel panicked and started pressing random buttons. Instead of muting herself, she accidentally turned on a cat filter. Suddenly she appeared on screen with whiskers and cat ears. The church members exploded with laughter. Even the pastor had to look away. Miss Rachel disconnected immediately. For 3 days she refused to answer any church calls. The following week things got worse. Her daughter taught her how to use voice commands. You can tell the phone what to do. Miss Rachel liked the sound of that. Finally, a chance to be in charge. The next morning she tested it. "Call Lily." The phone replied. "Calling Lion." A strange man answered. "Hello." Miss Rachel hung up. She tried again. "Call Lily." The phone replied. "Calling Lion." Again. "Hello." Again she hung up. By the third attempt Lion was getting annoyed. "Lady, stop calling me." Miss Rachel shouted at the phone. "I said Lily." The phone calmly answered. "I don't understand." Miss Rachel nearly threw it across the yard. Then came the incident at the supermarket. Miss Rachel was shopping when she accidentally opened a music app. Suddenly loud dancehall music started blasting from her purse. Everybody turned around. Miss Rachel froze. The music got louder. She started pressing random buttons. The volume somehow increased. Now the entire supermarket was listening. Children were dancing. Cashiers were laughing. One elderly man started nodding to the beat. Miss Rachel was desperately poking the screen. Nothing worked. Finally she pulled the phone out and shouted, "Stop!" The phone listened. The music stopped. The supermarket went silent. A young boy nearby looked impressed. "Auntie, your phone obey you." Miss Rachel smiled proudly. Then the phone suddenly responded, "I'm always here to help." The boy jumped. Miss Rachel jumped. 3 customers jumped. And one lady abandoned her shopping cart completely. That evening Miss Rachel sat on her veranda. The phone rested on the table. They stared at each other. For the first time she wasn't angry. In fact, she was starting to learn. She could send messages, take pictures, use video calls. Well, sort of. Maybe the smartphone wasn't entirely bad. Maybe she was finally getting the hang of it. Unfortunately, that confidence would soon lead to the biggest disaster yet. Because Miss Rachel had just discovered something called a live stream. And the entire community was about to become famous. By the third week, Miss Rachel had become much more confident with her smartphone. Maybe a little too confident. She now walked around with the phone in her hand like a professional. When people asked for directions, she checked maps. When somebody mentioned a song, she searched for it. When her children called, she answered without accidentally hanging up. The community was impressed. Miss Lily was impressed. Even Miss Rachel was impressed. "See there," she said proudly. "Me and technology finally come to an understanding." The smartphone remained silent. For once. One Saturday afternoon, Miss Rachel sat on her veranda watching the neighborhood. Children were playing football. Miss Lily was watering her plants. Mr. Brown was arguing with a goat that had escaped from someone's yard. It seemed like a normal day. Then Miss Rachel noticed a button she had never seen before. It said, "Go live." Oh Lord! She pressed it. Big mistake. Huge mistake. At first nothing happened. Or so she thought. The phone camera switched on. A live stream started. And everybody who followed Miss Rachel online received a notification. Miss Rachel is live. People immediately joined. 10 viewers. 20 viewers. 50 viewers. 100 viewers. Meanwhile, Miss Rachel had absolutely no idea. She thought the phone was loading something. So she placed it on the veranda table and walked away. The live stream continued. The viewers watched everything. They watched Miss Rachel sweep the yard. They watched her chase a chicken away from her flowers. They watched her scold a stray dog. Then things got interesting. Miss Lily arrived. "Rachel." "Morning." The two women sat down and started talking. And gossiping. A lot. The live stream audience doubled. Then tripled. Comments started flooding in. People from all over Jamaica were watching. People from overseas were watching. Nobody could believe what they were hearing. Meanwhile, Miss Rachel and Miss Lily remained completely unaware. Suddenly, Mr. Brown passed by. The same Mr. Brown who was always bragging. "Good afternoon, ladies." "Afternoon." Mr. Brown adjusted his hat. "Me tell Ono already, if me enter any competition, me a go win." Miss Rachel rolled her eyes. "You couldn't even win hide and seek." The live stream audience exploded with laughter. Comments poured in. "Miss Rachel savage." "Mr. Brown never recovering from that one." "Protect Mr. Brown at all costs." Within an hour, thousands of people were watching. The entire community unknowingly became entertainment. Children noticed first. One boy ran into the yard. "Miss Rachel! Miss Rachel!" "What?" "Yeah, a trend." "Trend where?" "Pon the internet." Miss Rachel frowned. "What nonsense you talking?" The boy showed her his phone. There she was. Live. Talking. Moving. Looking confused. Miss Rachel nearly dropped her smartphone. "What?" She stared at the screen. The screen stared back. The viewers kept increasing. 5,000. 10,000. 15,000. Miss Rachel screamed. The viewers loved it. Panicking, she tried to end the live stream. Instead, she accidentally flipped the camera. Now thousands of people were looking directly up her nose. The comments became even funnier. National Geographic just discovered a new cave. Somebody send a rescue team. We inside Miss Rachel's sinuses now. Miss Lily laughed so hard she almost fell out of her chair. Miss Rachel pressed another button. Nothing happened. Another button. Still nothing. Finally she shouted at the phone. Turn off. The phone answered. I'm sorry. I didn't understand. The viewers were crying with laughter. Even people who had never met Miss Rachel were sharing the video. At that exact moment, her grandson arrived. One look at the screen and he understood everything. Grandma, give me the phone. He grabbed it, pressed one button. The live stream ended. Silence. Sweet silence. Miss Rachel sat down slowly. The entire yard was quiet. Miss Lily wiped tears from her eyes. Rachel. What? You're famous. I don't want fame. The grandson checked the numbers. Then his eyes widened. Grandma. What now? 30,000 people watched. Miss Rachel nearly fainted. 30,000. Yes. Why? The grandson shrugged. Because you're funny. Over the next few days, people everywhere recognized her. At the supermarket. At church. At the market. Even the delivery driver. Morning celebrity. Miss Rachel groaned. Don't start. But secretly, she enjoyed it a little. Just a little. A month later, her grandson had an idea. Grandma, why not make videos on purpose? Absolutely not. The next day he asked again. No bad of me. The day after that. No bad of me. A week later. No pressure me. 2 weeks later. Maybe. Before long, Miss Rachel started posting short videos. Nothing fancy. Just everyday life. Her opinions. Her stories. Her battles with technology. People loved it. The followers grew. The views grew. And surprisingly, Miss Rachel became one of the most popular personalities in the district. One evening she sat on her veranda with Miss Lily. The smartphone rested on the table. For the first time, there was peace between them. Miss Rachel smiled. You know something? What? This little thing nearly drive me crazy. Miss Lily laughed. But Miss Rachel picked up the phone. But maybe it not so bad after all. The phone suddenly spoke. I'm happy to hear that. Miss Rachel jumped. Miss Lily jumped. A passing goat jumped. And somewhere in the distance, Mr. Brown shouted. See. Me tell Anno that phone haunted. The entire neighborhood burst out laughing. And for the first time, Miss Rachel laughed too. Moral of the story. Sometimes the things we fear most become the very things that open new doors. Just remember to check if you're live streaming before you start gossiping. And that brings us to the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an adventure. Thank you for spending your time with us, and until next time, take care, stay safe, and keep the stories alive.